In this lesson, I'll show you how to create a procedural coral structure using a mix of splines, sweep object, and volume. We'll finish things out by adding a little extra detail using a random field. To create the coral base, I'm going to use a set of splines. So I'm going to go up to the spline menu, grab the sketch tool. I'm going to middle click out of the viewport and go into the front view by middle clicking on the front view. And then for the sketch tool, I'm going to make sure that create new spline is checked on. This will just help us create individual splines with every stroke. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag and just loosely create 5 simple splines, just like so. I'm going to middle click back out and into the perspective view again. I'm going to grab the rotate tool and then rotate each one of these individually just a little bit. The goal here is to just fan these out, make it look pretty random, and just help it out just a little bit, just like so. That looks good. Now to mesh these out, we need to use a sweep object. So we need to go up to our generator menu and grab a sweep object. We also need another spline for the mesh itself. So I'm going to use an end side. So I'm going to go up to our spline menu and grab an end side. And let's go ahead and bring that inside the sweep object. It's rather large right now. Let's dial this down to about 25 centimeters. We also need all these other splines inside the sweep, but we can't use them as they are right now. We need to combine these together. We can do that using a connect object. Let's go into the other generator menu and let's grab our connect object. Grab all the splines and click and drag them inside the connect object, and then bring this connect object inside the sweep object. And this is what we get. So that does not look right. We need to bring the end side on top of that connect object. So the order does matter here. And there's our sweep. It's looking a bit faceted right now, so we can fix that by just selecting the end side and clicking on rounding. And that looks much better. Now we can taper these ends down by selecting the sweep object, and then let's bring this end scale down to about 5%, and then we get this. So that's looking better. I'm going to hide this grid here in the background. It's getting in the way. So I'm going to go to filter and make sure that grid is off. All right, that looks better. So let's go in closer to this. So this is looking good, but you can see these arms are doing their own thing. You can tell that they're individual arms. So we want to blend these together, and we can easily do that using volumes. So let's grab a volume builder. We have 2 of these. We have a volume builder and then the mesher. The mesher is just responsible for giving the volume a surface. And then we have the builder, which is responsible for giving us our voxels that create that unification. So let's grab the builder here, and then let's bring that sweep. Let's go ahead and rename this and just call this needle coral, just to stay organized here. Let's bring this needle coral sweep inside the volume builder. And here's what we get. We get these massive voxels. So we want to dial these down. So let's go ahead and select the volume builder, and let's dial these down to about 1. And here's what we get. That's looking better. You can see that we're starting to get this blend here. Let's bring this up to about 1.5, and there's a better blend there. Okay, now what we can do is we need to mesh this and give it a surface. So let's grab the volume mesher and bring the volume builder inside that mesher, and now we get this beautiful surface. You can tell that we definitely have some blending going on here. That's looking much better. So now let's take this a step further, and let's give this some procedural noise just to give it some sort of texture. We'll do that by using a random field. So let's go up to our fields menu and let's grab our random field. Let's bring this random field right inside the volume mesher hierarchy, and let's place it on top of the volume builder. And then click on the volume builder and let's click and drag this random field and place it right on top of the needle coral. We can see that something did happen, but it's happening way down here at the base. We want it to affect the entire structure. So select the random field, and then let's go ahead and switch the creation space from box to object below, and we get this. Okay, that's looking pretty interesting. Let's scale the size of the noise. Let's go into the field tab, and then for scale, let's bring this down to about 40%. We get this now. So that's looking a little better. Let's go into the remapping tab. Here we can just dial the inner offset a bit. Let's dial that up to about 18. Let's try 23. We can start getting these nice divots. That's what we're wanting. I'm going to select the volume builder, and let's bring this voxel size down a little more. Let's go back to 1. Let's see if we get more detail. And there it is. That's what I'm looking for. Have some nice divots all across the mesh. So I'm liking that. So the one thing that I'm seeing here is that we have some arms here on this side. It's just not looking too balanced. I want to add an extra arm here. So this is the beauty of volumes and working procedurally here with this workflow. So we can easily add this extra arm. So I'm going to select our sketch tool again, and here in the perspective I'm just going to click and drag and just draw another arm. I'm going to make sure I place it where I want it, so I'm going to grab the rotate tool, just rotate this around a bit. I'm going to grab that spline by itself and just rotate it and place it where I want it, right around there. Maybe that looks better. And now all I have to do is click and drag that spline into the connect object, and we'll have an instant arm. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty powerful. Alright, in this lesson we learned how to utilize volumes along with a random field to build a procedural coral structure. In the next lesson we'll animate the coral using a cloth tag and mesh deformer.